Hi, my name is Nick Murphy. I'm part of the Brothers Murph, and this is You Can Solo That? You Can Solo That is a series where I go through all of our game collection, and I solo the games that can be soloed. And I started doing this because my brother Mike, who I play games with for the most part, was going to go out of town for a month, and I was like, well, I guess I better start soloing games so I can keep playing games while he's gone. He ended up not leaving, but screw it, I'm doing the series anyway. So this week, I'm going to be soloing Suburbia. Woo! You can solo Suburbia? Yeah, you sure can. Suburbia is a tile placement city building game, but instead of building a big old empire or a big old city, you're just building a suburb. Just your own suburb, and you're just trying to get the most people to come to your suburb. You're trying to have the highest population at the end of the game. If you do, you win. And there is a solo variant. Suburbia is kind of a bland looking game, but it kind of matches the theme because the suburbs are very bland. I mean, like, Suburbia as like real life, what would it even be, you know? It's just Suburbia. What would it be in real life? Darling, where should we dine tonight?
Well, I don't know, darling. Where would you like to go?
Oh, I don't know. Just somewhere positively suburban.
Ooh. Subway?
No.
What about Chili's?
No, we've done that 3 times this week.
How about Applebee's?
Applebee's. But that's the whitest, most suburban of all.
I know. That's why I bought it.
What?
I bought it. I bought Applebee's for you, my love.
You didn't.
I did. I have the contract right here.
I love you. You suburban son of a bitch.
Come and give your suburban beau some sugar.
Donald!
Oh, sorry. Some 0-calorie sweet and low.
You're goddamn right. Yeah, that checks out. Well, let's see how it solos. Alright, so this is a setup for Suburbia. Suburbia. Look, suburbs. So for the most part, it sets up in the same way. You're going to have your borough over here, but you also have to set up a second borough for Dale the bot. And you're going to have to be manipulating his borough while you're playing yours. So for the most part, the game sets up the same way with some minor differences. So it still sets up with each borough, and you each have a suburb, a community park, and a heavy factory in this order. You still start off with $15 million, and your income, your reputation, and your population all start in the exact same spot. Now there are some slight differences, so let's get into what's different. So you are still going to have your A stack, your B stack, and your C stack of tiles, except for they're all going to have 25 tiles in them. You're going to put the one more round tile in the bottom 12 of the C stack, and then you're going to give it a good shuff like we always do. Then you're going to put those on the bottom part of the C stack, and then put it in its designated place. You're going to have 3 public goals out, and you're going to put out the first 4 tiles of the A stack in the 0, +2, +4, and +6 spots. This is the only place that these are going to go. The +8, the +10, and the rightmost +0 spot are not going to be used in the solo game. Dale will never use his 2x multiplier token, so you can go ahead and throw it back in the box. So that's the basic setup. Let's get a little closer and see how this solo game plays out. So for you, the player, your game doesn't really change much at all. If you want this $9 office building, you pay your $9, you grab it, and you place it where you want in your borough, and then you change your income and your reputation accordingly. You can also turn something into a lake, or buy one of the 3 basic tiles per usual. And that's pretty much it. Now, most of the changes in the game are going to take place with Dale the bot. First things first, Dale always goes second. You always go first. Dale's a robot. He doesn't really mind. Also, he doesn't get to choose what he buys up here. He's just always going to buy the most expensive tile that's left. But here's the kicker. He only ever has to pay $3 for it. No matter how expensive it is, His is only $3. So Dale always is going to take the most expensive tile out here. And the most expensive is the price of the tile plus the price of the spot that it's under. So Dale is always going to take, in this situation, the mint, pay his $3, and put it in his burrow. In this situation where both of these are worth 17, Dale is always going to take the leftmost one. Dale will also never ever turn a tile into a lake, and he'll never buy one of the basic tiles. Also, if you're playing with the Suburbia Inc. expansion, Dale will never take one of these border tiles, and he will always score the bonus and challenge tiles that are on top of these stacks. Even if he didn't actually meet the requirements to score them, he still does. He's a douche. So when Dale drafts a tile, it's up to you to place it. The only rule is you have to place it in the best possible spot. So for instance, if Dale drafts this parking lot, I could put it right here, which is going to give him +2 income. Or, I could put it right over here, which is going to give him +4 income and 1 reputation. Let's do that. That's better. And that's pretty much all the placement rules for Dale. You just have to get the most expensive tile out there and place it in the best possible spot. He's got it real easy. Once you and Dale both pick and place your tiles, the remaining 2 tiles are discarded from the game, and 4 new tiles come out to replace them. And now we can start the next round. So you're going to be going around and around and around through all the A stack and the B stack and the C stack until you come all the way to the one more round. Once you get this, the game ends immediately. You do not play out that last round. You look at your score and see how well you did per the rulebook scoring system thing. And that is how you solo Suburbia. So that was Suburbia. Here's the thing. It's okay. It's not bad. It's okay. When I first read the rules for the solo variant to play against the Dale bot, I really thought, like, man, I'm going to hate this. Because I'm not a huge solo gamer in the first place, and what really bugged me when I was reading it was having to place the tiles in Dale's burrow. That really bothered me, because I was like, well, now I have to essentially play 2 games, because you have to place it in the best possible spot for that burrow. So you can't just place it anywhere. You can't place it in a spot that's going to screw Dale over. You have to place it in the best spot. So I'm like, well, I'm going to have to like sit here and look at it and be like, oh, is this the best spot? Is this the best spot? And I was like, that's like work. Like, I don't want to play someone else's game. I want to play my own game. And I will say, it really wasn't that bad. It was usually pretty quick. I could usually look at it really quickly and go, okay, this is the best spot. So I didn't mind that nearly as much as I thought I was going to, and that's nice. It was kind of weird the way Dale worked, because he only ever has to pay $3 for every single tile, and he's always taking essentially the most expensive tile out there. Man, it's just, he does have an advantage on you. By the end of the game, he had so much money, because a lot of the most expensive tiles, particularly in the first half of the game, are tiles that give you a lot of income and give you a lot of money. And he was always able to get those and always able to afford them, and I never was. So he had like top max income basically the entire game, which is really, really rare and not like reflective of a normal game at all. Which is fine. It is a solo variant, so it's a different game, but that was kind of weird. It got to the point where Dale actually won. We actually tied in the end of the game. We had the exact same population at the end of the game, and the tiebreaker is money, and he won because he had so much money. He was actually like 30 points behind me, but in Suburbia, you get 1 point for every 5 money that you had, and he had something like $160 or something astronomical, and it got him to the point where he was able to tie me because of it. It was crazy. That's also one thing that is kind of odd. In the rules, it's not really clear if you're actually supposed to be like scoring Dale's points. It just says like he pays $3 for every tile and you have to place it in the best spot, but that's it. And then there's a little table for how well you did. So if you scored this points to this points, you're like an architect. If you score this points to this points, you're like an advanced architect. And essentially, you're just trying to get the highest score possible. So then I don't know if you're actually supposed to be trying to like beat Dale or just get the highest score possible. I kept giving him his income and his reputation because I wasn't really sure if I was supposed to. And so, I don't know. I got a pretty decent score, but again, he ended up tying me and beating me because of the money. So that was kind of weird. One of my biggest problems with it was the whole time I was like this. Which you're like, yeah, you're playing a solo game. Why wouldn't you be quiet? But here's the thing. I'm not. If I'm alone, I'm usually talking. Not like talking to myself, having a conversation like, hi, Nick, how are you doing? I'm doing good, Nick. How are you? I'm good too, Nick. I don't have conversations with myself, but I have a tendency to think out loud. Especially if I'm trying to like work through a problem or solve a puzzle, it's much easier for me to categorize my thoughts if I think out loud. So in solo games, I'm usually talking throughout it. Just being like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to place this tile here. I'm usually saying things like that because it makes my mind work better. And this one, I wasn't talking at all. I was just doing this. And that for me is not a good sign. I talk a lot. If I'm not talking, it's usually not a good thing. So ultimately, the game was okay. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. I didn't have necessarily a bad time, but I also didn't really have a good time. I was kind of just like Switzerland and neutral the whole time. Suburbia was okay. If I really needed to play a game, it's all I had, I would totally solo it. But for the most part, there's other games that I would pick before it. So that is going to be it for You Can Solo That? You can solo this? Let's not do that. So please check us out on all forms of social media right here. Boop! You can also check out our podcast, This Game is Broken, with Dave Luza, Dan Hughes, and Matthew Jude from the Dice Tower. You can check it out right here. Boop! And please check us out on Twitch. We stream games like Suburbia and other games all the time. You can check it out up here. Boop! So until the next episode of You Can Solo That, this has been Nick. By myself.